Yep, all cheerleaders were men until World War II. Yep. Because in World War II, so many men had to go to war and died that the women had to step up and they had to start cheering. Was it weird when the first female cheerleaders went on the field to cheer for football teams where all the men were like, what the fuck is this? What are these women doing out here cheering for us? Where's the boys? What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 23 of the podcast. Pretty sure it's episode 23. We're slowly getting to that point where we will have made enough episodes where I start losing track of where I am. Well, today, we do not have much of a schedule. I've had a crazy morning. I've just been running around and I did not have time to prep like I normally do. But that's okay. Because it's episode 23 and we're still going to have a great time. Man, 23. They'll forever remind me of that Blink-182 song, Nobody Likes You When You're 23. Remember when it came out? I was like 13. And I remember sitting there listening to that song and be like, what's it going to be like when I'm 23? Do you think people will like me? Well, 23 is the year I started blowing glass. So, wow. We're already not making sense. Okay. So, before we get into this, don't forget we have the Connoisseur Smoke Drop coming up. I'm about ready to ship that order out. Then we have that big Sunday sale. And then I think after them, it might be Puff Factory. I'm not sure. I'd have to look on the drops on the website, but we know Connoisseur Smoke is next, and then that big Sunday sale. And then I'm going to be working through getting all of my accessory orders done before I get into the next big drop. So basically what I'm doing is Connoisseur Smoke's just about done, getting ready to ship that. Then I'm going to actually make all these accessories people have been waiting for. I got tons of drop downs and carb caps and stuff people have ordered over the last 2 months I have to make. So it should take me about a week to make all of those. And then once I make those, I'm going to get into that Sunday sale I've been talking about finally. And man, do we have some really cool colors. New color mixes we've made. One of them is called Sherbet Sparkle. I hope it works out. I hope I can make the piece without breaking it. But the color is really cool that we made. Our own little mix here in the studio. And again, don't forget to check out Don't forget to check out www.bmsglass.com. We got mood mats and stickers, all sorts of merch on there. Always adding new stuff. All right. Well, today, guys, we're going to be smoking on... like last episode with my wife, we were smoking like some of these same pieces. But me and her were mostly just chatting, going off. We weren't getting too much into function. And I watched the last episode back, and I didn't spend enough time with the Juggernaut and talking about it. So today I want to go a little bit more in depth with Juggernaut, talk about it, sesh on it. We got some fresh terps I got this morning. Some fresh laser cap. And then we got a little bit of sealed solventless left. We'll probably smoke the rest of the sealed solventless first because it's super terpy. It's some grape pie. And yeah, we have a busy day today here in the studio. We're filming 2 podcasts today, and then we have a bunch of shipping stuff we need to do. The second podcast is going to be with, hey, Luna, sweetheart. She's real tough. We got someone painting our house today, so she might be doing that throughout the episode, letting us know, hey, there's someone outside. But yeah, the second episode we're filming today is actually going to be with my dad, and I'm really excited to chat with him and just smoke some weed, because me and him are going to get super stony, and who knows what we're going to get into. We always have really good conversations and talk about all sorts of crazy shit, so it's a good time, and he's a real history buff, so... he's a fun person to talk to. It's almost like talking to like a history teacher that's dabbing. You know, they're just super high, but they know all these facts about history and stuff. Pretty interesting. All right. But yeah. Fuck. Bane, my dog, he thought I was talking to him. He was like, what? He just looked at me. He broke my toe last night. Good boy. See, Bane is a big boy, and when he runs by you, if Bane and I are both going down a narrow hallway together at top speed, and our legs start getting tangled up, toes are going to break. Because he is made out of concrete or steel. I don't even know what he's made out of, but it's much harder than whatever I'm made out of. And he broke my pinky toe. Not a big deal. I'm sure you guys have broken a pinky toe before. It's more just annoying than anything. You don't go to the doctor or nothing. You just look at it. So there it is. My broken toe. And then what else am I getting into today specifically? I'm finishing up a couple colored double diffused today for Connoisseur Smoke. These are the last couple pieces. And then we're getting everything wrapped up tomorrow to go out. This order is taking me a bit longer than I wanted. I talked about last week, but I cut my hand and stuff, slowed me down, and family coming into town and a bunch of things. But I'm not too stressed out about it. Normally I'd be freaking out like, oh, I'm behind my schedule. But I'm like, you know what? I've been doing these massive drops for 3 years straight. And if I need to slow down for a little bit just to catch my breath, that's completely normal. And honestly, probably a healthier decision than to keep on just pushing myself into the ground more. But 3 years straight of these giant drops, really grateful for how they've been going. We're going to continue doing them, but I'm definitely going to, like we've talked about the last 3 episodes, I'm working towards slowing down for hopefully a few weeks. Parents just got here, so I hope after this weekend, we're slowing down. We're getting close. I can taste it. I'm like, holy shit, I might be able to go to bed pretty early a few nights. Maybe just wake up and go to breakfast with the family one morning. Real basic shit that everyone should be able to do, but we live in a day and age where you have to work so hard to pay for shit. You guys know it's crazy. Even if you work, your 40 hours a week, it's still difficult to pay for that cell phone bill or, whatever. Honestly, I always say cell phone bills because when I was younger, like, we didn't really have like cell phones like that in the 90s. I mean, there were cell phones around, but there was no one ever heard of a cell phone bill that was $300-$400 a month. And now that's becoming the new normal, which is a little bit crazy. And there's lots of new bills, I swear, in this day and age that we inherently add to our list because it's things that we have to have because it's just normal. Like, everyone has to have a phone. Like, I see homeless people with phones. Like, everyone's got phones. It's just a crazy bill. But I don't even know how I got on that, but we're talking about it. So yeah, today is going to be a pretty chill day. I'm excited. I'm going to get way too stoned today, though. I already know, because I'm going to smoke with you guys for an hour, and then I'm going to do a podcast with my dad and smoke even more for an hour. And I know me and him are going to get into some crazy shit because I'm going to be so stoned. But yeah, the last 3 months, though, and this doesn't even really matter, but I'll talk about it for anyone that's been following me really closely for the last few years. I haven't stayed up to 4 a.m. and worked in like over 3 months. It feels fucking awesome. I feel so much more rested and awake. I know in those late night lives I still look pretty fucked up, but who doesn't look tired and fucked up at midnight, So I may not look super rested, but I feel so much better. Like, seriously, like, once we started the podcast, I pretty much stopped doing those late nights. I was like, I need to be a little bit more rested if I'm going to be doing these podcasts. And also, too, like, with bringing my kiddo to her early schooling stuff, I've said it before, but I don't want to be like one of those parents that walks in looking all fucked up. So I got to be a little bit rested so that I can be responsible and present while everything's going on. First piece we're going to smoke today, though, we're going to get into this double diffused because I love smoking my double diffused, and I hadn't smoked it for a bit, so I figured, I hadn't smoked it for a bit until like 2 days ago or yesterday because I had to post a dab video of it, which got this really weird like warning on Instagram and all this stuff because the dab video I did had the All That theme song in the background, and I don't know if you guys remember All That on Nickelodeon. It started in 1994. Awesome show, and I think that's honestly one of the shows that made me fall in love with just like 90s hip hop and stuff because they had TLC make that theme song. I believe was the group that made the song for All That. But yeah, Nickelodeon obviously is owned by Disney, I believe, and or Universal. I don't know who owns it. Someone owns it, but the copyrights are strong on it. I can play like newer music. I can play Bill Withers, all this crazy shit on Instagram. But as soon as I play the All That theme song from 1994, it gets like pulled or flagged, or I get a warning. So there's that. Thought that was pretty funny because I'm like, man, that is like the most obscure, like random theme song that everyone knows, but no one really thinks about or remembers. But for some reason, that's got higher copyrights on it than like Bill Withers, which is fucking nuts. But yeah, smoking. We're gonna smoke the double diffuse first here today. We've been doing Twitch at night too. It's been fun, guys. We've done a few Twitch streams now. We're going to start doing them every night. I've been trying to do 2 a day. Probably for the next month or so, we're going to just do like a couple a day, maybe 3 a day. And that way we can get everyone kind of used to the Twitch channel. And then we'll have some sort of schedule. Hopefully we'll set up in September with like scheduled, like every day we sesh at 7:10 and this time. And then certain days we'll have scheduled like pieces we're going to build or, things we're going to work on. Maybe we'll have like scheduled stuff like today we're going to work through a prototype. We're going to basically put an idea on the whiteboard, start building it, run into problems and find out how to solve it. We'll solve it on the whiteboard, bring it to the bench and rework the piece. So maybe we can do stuff like that. I've never done anything like that on live. I feel like if I were to do that in live, it'd be so, that would be even harder than doing these podcasts, because I feel like when I'm working through problems in glass or designing stuff, it's like you're super vulnerable, at least as a glass blower. I don't know if other glass blowers feel like this, but when you leave your studio and you work in front of another glass blower or someone you look up to, and you're just, at least me, I'm always in my head like what if I'm doing this wrong? Because like I'm self-taught. So a lot of the ways I do things might be not the traditional or textbook way, which will make, maybe someone that's more skilled look at me and be like, what is this idiot doing? Or at least that's how I feel when I go work with other people. I'm like, oh, I don't want to embarrass myself because I'm like self-taught. I do everything so crazy. And like probably not the safest way, but I get it done. But yeah, that's one thing. If I do these like live Twitches of me working through difficult projects and stuff, I think the vulnerability there is going to be the most. Even though you guys that listen to this podcast might be like, dude, the shit you say on the podcast is definitely more than just you doing a difficult weld and not doing good at it. But to me, like, I'm more self-conscious about me as a glassblower than what I care what people think about me with like, my perspective and stuff. I don't know, because like I'm like, oh, I don't want people to judge me on my glass, or I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's what this podcast is. We just go down weird paths, and I'm literally just talking and thinking. Nothing's scripted. Everything is just naturally like what's on my mind, and I'm thinking about things I've gone through or worked through or things I want to do, and you're just watching me literally think in the moment and talk about it. Kind of interesting, kind of different. But we'll set this joint down. Let's just do some dabs. I'm like barely smoking my joint this morning, but it's because I think I'm just itching to try this laser cat I got sitting over here. Got a couple different flavors today. I'll talk about them in 1 second. Just need to sip my coffee. Terpy. All right. Let's get the double diffuse in a good spot. All right, so the couple flavors I got today, I went over to Rocky Mountain Medical down here in Colorado Springs and grabbed some fresh terps. We got some banana puffy, which is some of their premium lava rosin. It's a banana OG times thin mint cookies. It smelled really good. It smelled like straight banana gas at the dispensary. And then we got some more GMO, because I always try to have some GMO in the fridge or with me, just because I love that super gassy, funky terp. If anything, I just smoke other stuff to cleanse the palate for more like GMO or OG dabs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys are like, any people following this are like heavy dabbers or really into the terps, but you'll know what I mean by you smoke fruity stuff just to cleanse the palate for more OG terps. And that's kind of how I looked at the banana puffy. I was like, the banana puffy smells super gas, so I'm sure it'll be like some OG terps in there that I'm looking for, but essentially all these fruity ones are just to cleanse the palate for more of those gassy OG terps, like the GMO. Start with some banana puffy, though. Haven't even opened these yet. Sometimes I've gotten them before, and they're like upside down, and all your hash is on the top of the... Well, that just smells crazy. Whoa. Just smelling that almost made me sneeze. That banana puffy, especially the fresh jar, it's out of the fridge, and it's been sitting out for about 20-30 minutes, so it's like perfect, super fresh, and it's gotten to warm up a little bit. Eventually here we'll get like some sort of maybe like small webcam or something just for hash, so I can like have that and like show you guys exactly what we're looking at. We'll do like little scoop shots and stuff, but like anything, it takes time to build up to that. I talked about getting my lathes for years, and then I finally got them, and it took me 6 months to start working on them. So hopefully we can be a little bit quicker with the content creating as far as getting the tools and everything we need to do it. But everything costs money, and you got to work and save money. It's just how we do it here. We are a small family business, and we're just trying to do it without putting ourselves in a position where we can't keep growing. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to take it slow. Sometimes you can't have it all at once. You got to just realize you got to be patient and work hard and save. Saying all that stuff aloud almost just to remind myself to be patient, not so much for you guys either. Sometimes I need to say things out loud to remind myself, hey, just because you don't have everything now doesn't mean it's not going to happen for you. You got to be patient, and it could be like that saying, like, good things come to those who wait. That could be just some statement to, calm people down that don't get anything or are constantly failing, or maybe it's a real thing. Maybe if you're patient, you wait, you do everything you're supposed to do, you work hard, maybe it'll happen. But at the same time, don't expect it to, because you could do your best, and that doesn't mean shit's going to happen for you. It's Isn't that the crazy thing about the world we live in? It's brutal. You could work your hardest, and that doesn't mean you're going to be successful. But what else is there to do, right? You either just sit around and just feel bad for yourself and wait for shit to change, or you can just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, at least you gave it your best shot. And yeah, that's almost like, to me sometimes, like when I felt like stressed and overwhelmed and like wanted to quit at things, I've gotten to the point where instead of like quitting to like be like, fuck everyone, I'm just going to quit, that'll show them, I'm like, I'm going to work harder. That's going to be my fuck you to the world. I'm going to work so hard and just keep my head straight and just be the best I can be. And that'll be like how I get back at shit. And the reason I do it that way, because any other way, you're just hurting yourself. You know, in the end, like, you can talk about how you're not going to do stuff and share it with people and tell them, and maybe some people will care, but in the big picture, you're just hurting yourself with stuff. And we want to help ourselves grow here and do better. To do better than the next day, at least. Let's throw one of these new bubble caps on there. I was going to use the spinner, but let's just fucking throw a bubble on there. These new caps will become with Connoisseur. The Lathe made caps. Slowly starting to switch over to Lathe made stuff, but these Lathe made caps are super, super nice. We're just waiting for this nail to cool down. We're just about there. All right. Mike. Whoa. Whoa. Banana terps. Fuck. Holy shit. Well. Well, that, whoa. The fuck did I just smoke? Banana puffy. That was good. Very terpy. So banana, though. Like, you can taste the goddamn potassium. And it has a really nice OG gassy undertone, but heavy in the banana terps. Whoa, it's a hitter, too. And maybe it's just because it's my first dab of the day. But, oh my God. I wasn't ready. Wow, that tastes amazing. I'm so stoked Laser Cat went medical. So now we have Laser Cat down here in Colorado Springs. It's wonderful. The homies, like Peace Within Hash, Shield Solventless, they always take care of me. But sometimes I need to get hash like when people aren't available, or get it early in the morning before podcasts. And the Laser Cat is a great alternative for some high quality rosin at a pretty good price, especially Rocky Mountain Medical. Ken over at Rocky Mountain Medical. If you guys are in Colorado Springs, please support Ken. He has the best prices, all his hash. I mean, literally, like, all the other dispensaries, like, these grams are $10 more a gram. Like, his shit is super on point. Him and his family have been down here in Colorado Springs dispensary owners, I think, for like 10 plus years. And they're a family business too. They got their kids. Everybody works hard together there. So make sure you guys support Ken over at Rocky Mountain Medical. Because I did this morning. Wow, that, you guys know when you take that first dab of the day, and like I've said it before, but you feel like that fucking like through your veins, almost like the THC or like lightning going through your veins. Maybe that's just me. Maybe cannabis does something to me that's like, it's like my superpower. I don't know, but this shit, when I take my first dab of the day, especially something super fire, I mean, it's like energy shooting through my fucking veins. It feels awesome. That with some coffee, the caffeine just adds to it, just stimulants on stimulants, and that's how we're working. But it's what it is. I mean, we're human. You need something to cut the edge off or something to get you through the day. I mean, some people, you know, they choose, you know, drugs. Like me, I like to smoke weed and drink coffee. Some people find God. Other people find, you know, connection with, I don't know, fuck. Some people fall in love with, like, inanimate objects. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's what it is. And that's what happens. But I'm sure I had a point there, but, you know, we lost it because the hash is kicking in. We took the first dab, and this is where the episode starts to spiral out of control once the dabs start. It's literally just me taking dabs and in between trying to figure out what happened, and then taking another dab and being like, wait, what happened? What is going on? And then I finished the episode, And I don't know what I talked about until I watch it. I'm going to become really, really redundant on here, I feel. But that's podcasts. If you guys watch any podcasts, I do that. Like, I have so many podcasts I watch daily, and I've been watching for years. And, people inherently just become a little bit redundant. But I like that. Something fun about podcasts, it's almost like you have these, like, friends that you don't, like, hang out with or, like, really know, but you kind of do hang out with. It's weird. Like, I love watching, like, the Tiger Belly podcast with Bobby Lee, and then his new podcast he does with Andrew Santino, Bad Friends, and then also Andrew Santino's podcast, Whiskey Ginger. There's so many. I think I'm going to make a list on my website, or maybe a highlights link on my Instagram of all the podcasts I listen to. I also, after the episode I filmed with my dad that we'll put out next week, I'll put a bunch of links to podcasts related to history stuff and all sorts of really, really cool, like, obscure, like, history that people don't normally talk about that's really interesting. So, because the episode with my dad, we're going to be smoking, getting fucking stoned, but it's not going to be about glass. We're just going to be just shooting shit back and forth at each other nonstop. But, you guys want to do a side-by-side of a honey jar and a double diffused since we have them, and then we can do a side-by-side of a double diffused with the Juggernaut, because the Juggernaut's essentially a blown-up double diffused. Let's do that. And I know we've probably done stuff similar to this before, but hey, not everyone watches every episode I do, and the farther we get into these, we'll have new people that jump on that probably won't watch the early ones. So let's talk more about, like, the stuff that I work on. I'll do some side by side, because maybe you're like, hey, I have an option to get a honey jar or a double diffuse, but which one do I want? So we'll talk about some just, and it's going to be just all off the top of my head, but like some specific differences. So let's talk about the perks in both pieces first. In the honey jar recycler, you have a reinforced gridded inline perk. I've always loved inline perks. Obviously, I'm not the first one to do inline perks. They were around before I was ever a glass blower. Actually, like Sovereignty, I believe, I don't know if they still make this design, but they definitely did back in the day, was they had a gridded inline like this and an uptake. I mean, this is pretty similar layout to like this Sovereignty recycler from back in the day. They just had a little bit different concept with their drain. We all have our different like drains and how we like to move the water and control it. But essentially, I would say that this piece, the honey jar recycler's function and layout, would almost have to have been inspired by that Sovereignty design back in the day, because that was just about the only recycler I was seeing in like stores and stuff locally. Like when I'd go to shops and stuff in 2010 and 2011, like you weren't seeing recyclers really, and there was a couple out there, and Sovereignty was definitely one of them I was seeing. And I know Ham was too, but I was on the East Coast, and the shops I was going to, I don't know if there was as much Ham there because we didn't really see as much of it. What we had was a lot of Sovereignty and Toro and Sheldon Black and Roar. What other brands? Obviously it's another New York company. Wow. Okay. So the honey jar recycler has the reinforced gridded inline perk. Sorry about the tangent on inline perks. Then the XL double diffused has the double diffused perk in it, which is a 24-hole gridded shower head perk to that 8-hole disc above it. Now, the honey jar recycler has more of that traditional hit. It's going to have more of that chug and that little gulp, that initial start, but it is like a really effortless piece with that nice purr that my pieces normally have. But it has that initial recycler startup. Whereas the XL double diffused hits almost like a scientific bubbler from back in the day, but it recycles. So honey jar's more traditional. Double diffused RBR is like a hybrid of like a traditional scientific bubbler with a drain on it. But I'll do some side-by-side pulls, and I'm actually going to take a dab on the honey jar of some GMO, I think, unless the GMO is going to get me even way too stoned. Who knows? But let's do some just dry pulls on these so you guys can kind of hear the sound, and then you can see the difference in startup, the difference in vortex, how the double diffuse has a faster drain, the honey jar recyclers have a slower drain, and I can briefly go over that again, why the drains are the way they are. But let's move the mic so you can kind of hear these. And then we'll do the honey jar recycler here first. you can hear those little gulps and pops. Now that doesn't mean that it's like heavy drag that's hard to pull on, but you're actually hearing the water like snapping and popping through sections. That's what adds that little bit of restriction. But then once it starts up, you just hear it start purring. So you hear those initial pops and stuff, and then just once it's going, it's just purring and flowing. So that was the honey jar recycler. Now we will pull on the XL double diffused here, and I think I'll take the nail out so that the sound is just opened up just like the honey jar was, so it's easier to compare these. Now the double diffused has that more smooth purr to it, effortless. You can hear it's like makes this weird fucking noise. And I always say the double diffuse, once they're rolling, it sounds like just like birds like chirping or something. There's like this weird, like these weird little like chirp sounds in there. I don't even know. I probably smoked too much. But here's the honey jar again. So definitely different. Now let's talk about the drains before I take a dab real quick here. So the honey jar recycler has a slower drain. The reason it has a slower drain is because it can. Because the way the perk is, it's not all the way to the bottom. Like the RBR perks are like all the way to the bottom and welded on the bottom. The honey jar recyclers have a like an inline perk that's all the slits are facing up. So all the energy from the perk just goes up. Like it's not shooting down like the RBR. The bubbles could actually keep going down farther all the way to the foot. So because of that, and because of how much volume of water is in this big can, it can have a slower drain because it's not going to bottom out. But the RBR stacks water so aggressively because the double diffuse perk in here is like a turbocharged like shower head. It's shooting so much energy and water that it literally needs the water to be feeding back into the perk as fast as possible. Not just because the perk could possibly bottom out if you're not feeding it enough water while it's stacking, but also too because it's stacking so much, you need the water dropping as quick as possible so the water doesn't stack up into the mouthpiece and you don't end up like drinking water. So the RBRs have, because I've had people ask like, why don't you do an RBR with a slow drain? Because people are really into the slow drain. I'm like, well, if you want a slower drain, go with my honey jar recycler model because that's a slower drain. It's more of a traditional recycler, has more of a chug. It's like if you want some weird hybrid thing that doesn't hit like it should, like when you smoke an RBR, like that didn't hit like anything I've ever had. It's just like this effortless, like I don't even know. It just works. Then I'd say go with the RBR, but they're both different. But that variety, I think, is what makes it fun, though, because then there's something for everybody. People that are like, oh, I like slow drains. Cool, I got a pipe for you. People are like, I want to try something different. Cool, we got the RBR. This is definitely different. It's simple, refined function. But what I love about the RBR and the honey jar recyclers, I try to really focus on these pieces to display the function. Like I wanted them to be aesthetically pleasing, but also too I want them to display like function and like the vortex and all the bubbles going through the perk like in the best way possible. That's why I like love the RBR. It's like just a straight vortex all the way to the floor. So it's like in this can you have your bubbles and your function and your like perk functioning, and then over here you have your tornado. It's just like so cut and dry. Because like I've talked before, when I make big pieces with the drains like snaking through like Swiss holes and all this stuff, that shit's hard as fuck. It's so much work. It's crazy. But it hides a lot of that function because the drains are going in and out of stuff and like all through the piece. But when it's just simple and refined like this, it's like you get to see it all. So the RBRs are just great for doing dab videos and stuff because they just show all that function so clearly. And the same thing with the honey jar recycler. They're a very similar layout, essentially. You can see the drains are about the same height. Mouthpieces are the same height. The feet are pretty close in size. But the honey jar recycler has definitely a totally different hip, but it also displays like the water and the function really well with these nice like flat cylinders that just show everything. I'll tell you what though, I've been having a lot of fun doing like these beakers and stuff when I'm making these flower tubes. It's been a blast. All right, well I'm gonna take a little dab on the honey jar recycler, and then we'll bring over the Juggernaut Do a little side by side with the Juggernaut and the double diffused. Let's just move this over for a second. We're going to throw a spinner cap on the honey jar, I think. Yeah, we'll do a spinner cap. Kind of matches the honey jar really well, too. Oh, my God. That fucking banana puff, whatever the fuck it is, it got me actually, like, super, super stoned. Like, I'm going to heat up this now right now, and in my mind, I'm kind of like, dude, you don't even need, like, another dab. It's, like, 10 in the morning. You know, you should probably drink some water. Maybe have a water. Don't have another dab. But what the body doesn't know is right now we're talking about function. So we need to put some terps. We need to show true function. Because just me pulling on it dry, that's not real. That's just like a general, like, hey, it can spin water. But how does it function with a carb cap? How does it function when someone's actually dabbing? So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm going to be so high next episode. I'm going to be putting these down for that whole episode with my dad. Probably. Actually, that might make him, like, be confused because he might want to look me in the eyes. But I'm going to be so stoned. I'm not ready. But what a fun way to spend, like, a fun way to spend your Thursday morning. At least for me, it's Thursday. This will come out Sunday, but I had a breakfast sandwich. I had some coffee. Now I smoked some weed. Now I'm having some hash. Man, 8 years ago, I'd been fucking landscaping. I'd be like carrying brick right now. I'd be like counting the minutes till lunch just so I could get a breather because my back would be killing me. You got to remind yourself constantly of, you know, what you've gone through or how far you've come. Even if you're super young, even if you're only like, you know, 17, 18 and you're just figuring shit out, we all have a story, so don't belittle where you've come from. What am I dabbing? Okay, good, it's GMO. I can't have any more of that banana. Bane, you good, bro? You having a little Bane dream? Okay. Sounds good, bro. Oh, there's someone outside scraping. You guys won't be able to hear that, but I hear it because I'm super stoned. All right, we're going to throw this spinner cap on here. I've been making a lot of caps on the lathe lately. It's been a really fun way to practice and also, too, to have really cool accessories for around the studio. Just nice accessories for us to smoke here. Because me, Cormac, my wife, we all dab and smoke flower. So we're smoking all these pieces all day, trying them out, trying out the prototypes. It is fun when people come into work and I have some new pieces. I'm like, you guys want to smoke some new pieces? Want to see how these ones work? And then that's what we do. It really is a dream job for me, but it's been a real challenge to get to this point of it being the dream job. Every day is still a challenge, honestly. This now is hot as fuck. We've been waiting a minute 45, and I know it's still really hot. I actually really warmed it up this time. I can feel the heat. We're just going to give it a couple more seconds because I don't need a hot dab right now. It might make this morning get real messy. Oh, this one's going to be low temp. That's okay. That's what I wanted. That was so nice. This second one's not going to be so nice. It's okay, though. Can't go wrong with that GMO. I know some people are tired of it. But I like things. And once I find something I like, I stick with it. And this GMO is as close as I'm going to get to the SFV. Because SFV is tough to find. I know one of my friends has it up in Denver. But I don't make it to Denver ever. Not anymore. Now that I have my med card, and if someone goes to Denver, I'm going to send one of my guys up there to help me because I need to keep making glass so that I can just keep affording to have jobs for people and shit. Because that's what it is, too. When you're a small business owner, you have to realize you got to keep working your butt off so you can afford to keep paying for people, too, so they have jobs. But I'm not going to say that to them, even though I know, Brandon, you listen to this, and whatever. But it's what it is. Super stoned. All right, so Wow, that GMO actually made me feel a lot better. That banana was kind of heavy. I'm not sure if it was just because it was like sativa, so maybe it was more like cerebral, and that GMO maybe is bringing me back down a little bit. But I feel a little bit better. Maybe the GMO was just so terpy that it tricked my stomach into being like, bro, you just ate some food, huh? What was that? Some garlic? Some garlic funk? Who knows? All right. So let's pull over the Juggernaut compared to the double diffuse, and then I think we're going to be getting pretty close to the end of another episode. Again, today didn't really have an agenda, but, I just wanted to come hang out with you guys, sesh it up a little bit, and catch up. Because I know there's a handful of you guys that listen to this and do appreciate these. So let's rock the bubble cap on this. This bubble cap's got really nice airflow. So it's going to be great for the Juggernaut. So let's talk about this piece for a little bit. We'll put a little double diffuse. Wow. I'll tell you what, making the Juggernaut fucked up every other RBR I make, because I've been making double diffuse and standards the last few days since I made the Juggernaut, and I have to like make the can and then go measure it, because I'm like, these cans look too small, like something's wrong with the glass, and then all the measurements are perfect. I'm like, what's going on? And it's because I made this Juggernaut. After I made the Juggernaut, it made everything look so small that my double diffuse, these are like my big XL double diffuse. This is a 10.5-inch pipe right here. This is like a big pipe. Like, people that make oil rigs, they're not 10.5 inches tall. This one is. And then look at this behemoth next to it. Oh my god, my dog is just breathing under this mic. Huh, Bane? Just hanging out, bro. But yeah, just rubbing that ear. Okay, dude, go lay down, my guy. But yeah, the Juggernaut, let's just talk about like how like the whole build went, because I really didn't get into it last week when my wife was here, because we were just fucking hanging out and getting stoned together and talking, or I was talking at least. She felt bad after. She was like, oh, I was just like so in my head. She's like, you took me so off guard, and you started talking about masks and how we interact with each other, and then I got way too stoned and started thinking too deep about shit. And I was like, you're fine. I was like, you were there to support me, even if like you didn't have much to say. Like, that's what podcasts are. They're mostly audio, so no one would know that unless they were like watching the video. But I like the videos because we do a lot of video oriented stuff. So I think she did great. I want to have her on here every episode just for emotional support, because it's just nice having, someone sitting next to you doing it with you. But the Juggernaut here, so I had to make this crazy huge perk. This right here, this perk weld, it was a huge Dewar seal. It was actually it was 80. It was an 80 millimeter Dewar I made. So what the Dewars look like, I think I have one right here in my drawer. One second. Yeah. I got some small ones over here. So let me talk about this for a minute. I'll just hold it right here. So what a Dewar is, it's essentially a joint with this flared lip. So you guys can see this clear lip that's on the top of that joint. And that's what I essentially had to do, was make a giant one of these. So I made a Dewar that essentially had a foot on, or a flare on it, that was 80 millimeters. So when you flipped it like this, the perk looked like a fucking wine glass. So look at the Juggernaut and think about how big this one is. It's a huge, huge lip. It's 80 mils, so it's massive. So when this perk was like not in the piece, when I had it standing on the bench, my wife thought it was a wine glass before I cut it. Before I cut the perk, she was like, is that like a wine glass or something? What are you making there? Because it had a huge flared foot on it. The perk at the bottom there is like over 50 millimeters, so it's like a huge cup. Well, it's not exaggerate. I mean, 50 millimeters wouldn't be a huge cup, but it'd be an oversized shot glass at least. So, maybe it's just like it looked like some sort of wine glass, though, was my point before I finished the perk. So, like, this perk, my whole point is this shit is huge. It's a big perk. I essentially put a wine glass upside down into this. And anyone that's, like, hit this piece has been really, really surprised at the function. Because you see this, and you're like, wow, that is funny, that's obnoxious, but man, does that look hard to smoke. How you probably have to work so hard to make all that water move, but you really don't. It's incredibly surprising how low the drag is for how big this piece is and how much water it's actually moving. And I was talking to my dad about this actually the other night. I'm like, I want to figure out a way to measure the amount of water this thing actually moves. I was like, because I always make posts like this thing's moving gallons of water, but like there's got to be some way to test how much water it's moving. But yeah, I think I might even talked about that last episode. Who knows? We might be becoming redundant like I talked about in the beginning of this episode. It might be happening. Or was that a callback? I don't know. All right, so let's take a dab on this thing. This ridiculous piece. Where are we at for time, Mark?
40 minutes.
Sweet, we're crushing. I love it. But yeah, what the great comparison is actually having a double diffuse next to this. So you can just really see how ridiculous this is, especially if you guys already own an XL double diffuse, because I bet the XL double diffuse is the biggest piece in your like dab rig collection because they're pretty chunky for an oil rig. But we had to get more obnoxious to make this giant thing. Oh, take a dab on it. My goodness. Oh, I need a cup for some water too in a minute. We'll do that after this episode. Because the coffee's just giving me indigestion. I don't want to be burping on mic constantly, you know. My dad's probably going to be doing plenty of burping while we hang out. Who knows what's going to happen. Already slurring my words. It's going to be a great episode. I can't wait. Filming it back to back. You guys won't see it for a while, but I like to talk about it because I'm a noob to podcasting. I just talk about whatever's going on. So this nail is really close, obviously, to this piece. So you have to be a little bit careful, but that's how big this thing is. It makes this long neck nail look like a short little 5mm.
It's hot in here today.
Is it? Dude, I don't even know. Maybe I've been really hot the last few days, so right now this actually feels pretty comfortable. But it's because I've been just melting on a torch, and my temperature gauge is probably set to like Death Valley or something, like someplace that's really hot. Oh, okay. Well, honestly, dude, we could even crack a garage door next episode. We can problem solve it, dude. All right. I got a timer going, but that shit is smoking. I think it's the Terp pearl because I didn't use any alcohol, so I think there's some terps that stuck to the Terp pearl. All right, we're gonna smoke this Juggernaut though. This piece is so fun. I'm so stoked it worked out. It was very challenging. It fell off the lathe, and it was just some shit went sideways with it, but it worked out in the end. And super grateful and stoked to have this one in my collection. But who knows, maybe around Christmas time I'll drop like 3 Juggernauts, but they'll probably have colored perks and colored necks. But then the rest will be clear. That way you can like see all the function, but we'll have some, huge colored perks in there and stuff will look really sick. Crushed opal perks, I don't even know. But maybe I'll drop a couple Juggernauts just for fun for people that actually want these crazy pieces, and I'll have them come with a flower bowl and some sort of adapter, so if you don't have a long neck nail, it'll just raise the nail up for you. We'll figure it out though. It should be just about ready. This thing has kind of a crazy sound too. Sorry, bro. Sneezing? Too many terps. Puppy sneeze. Well, that deb disappeared because it was a little warm, but what are you going to do? Whoa. God, it's been really hot in the world lately, hasn't it? Isn't like the world melting or something, Mark? Do you watch the news? I don't. I really don't. I probably should. I don't, because it's every time I watch the news, dude, I can't even, if I scroll through Instagram and see like a lion attacking another animal, I have to scroll fast. I can't see anything like that. That's how sensitive I've gotten since I've become a dad. I'm like, Jesus, I can't see baby animals getting eaten. I can't see people having a bad time. I got to though. So you can make change, but at the same time it's hard to realize how brutal our world really is. I guess that's what it is, I don't know, but we'll keep it positive. So the Juggernaut, wow, it could probably even handle a little more water. or a specialized nail with a ton of airflow. There's this guy that would probably make a badass nail just for the Juggernaut that would be super airflow. Is LA High Life Quartz. He probably doesn't listen to this, but you guys should check him out. He's got he does it looks like he does all custom quartz and stuff for people. It's really cool. And he's always posting lots of content, live videos. I think he posts how-to stuff. And he also has this cool segment on his Instagram called I think it's called Breaking Glass, and he has a huge fish tank filled with water that's no animals in there. It's just an empty glass cube. And then he say a piece breaks while he's working on it or cracks, he'll throw a full piece in there while it's molten hot, and you'll slow motion watch it explode underwater. You guys should check him out. LA High Life Quartz on Instagram. I just giving people shout outs just because I think we all need to help each other grow here so our industry can get, or at least maintain. I'm not even worried about growth right now. I just would love people to maintain. I want to see everybody continue to at least take care of their families, and it would be awesome to see everyone grow. But let's not get negative. See me? Where am I going? I need to stay positive because once my dad gets on here, he's a negative Nancy. We got to watch out. I don't want to say that too loud either. I'm probably going to also do a separate intro before he even comes out and not even tell him we're filming. So I'll make the intro, talk about episode 24, and then fucking, yeah. All right. Well, let's do one more dab on this double diffuse. Actually, let's pull side by side before we do one more dab, because we'll do a closing dab. But let's pull on these side by side and just we'll listen to the sounds of them and look at this ridiculous vortex and this big Juggernaut here, and then the XL double diffuse, which, like I said before, if you guys own one, you know how big they are, and this thing makes it look small. Let's probably lower this mic a little bit, actually. I'm not quite. There we go. It's close. I'm gonna get it. You hear that fucking thing? It's sounds so crazy. Wow, what a piece. And now the XL double diffused. Similar, but you can really hear the water volume moving in the Juggernaut. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can see the water evenly. Oop, little cap stick in my hand. Too many terps on it. You can see the water evenly stacking all the way up around the dewar. The water isn't just stacking to one side and pumping in. It's this whole thing is stacking, which is kind of cool. That's why the double diffused perk is I really like them. I mean, I've been using them since I made them back in 2013, just because they seem to let water move through as if it was welded, but it doesn't create that blocked up section where you could get stuff trapped, particles of flour or resin, whatever. You guys know if there's multiple chambers, shit gets trapped. Stacking, and then when she drains, a little pop of water shoots out and then lands back on top, just because of the back pressure of this piece. It's ridiculous. It was so heavy too. Obviously, all lathe made. Could not do that. I couldn't do it by hand. I bet you Ham could do it by hand though. That dude's a beast. I think it's so heavy. I'm so stoked our house is getting painted. I hear him out there brushing away. Got my own little ASMR going on in here. You guys can't hear it, but I can. All right. Well, coming up soon, though, is that connoisseur smoke drop. I don't know how they're doing it, though, guys. I wish I did know. I don't know if they've pre-sold stuff or what. But watch for the Sunday sales and stuff. We're going to do some clear shit. We'll have stuff available, but there's not going to be a big drop for a little bit. Just because we got to slow down for just a little bit, but we're going to keep doing everything we have been doing. There's just going to be a little bit less glass available for just a month or so. I don't even want to get this too hot because I don't even want to wait that long, honestly. I'm going to try and get into this banana one more time, but this stuff was potent. Man. Well, I'm stoked to talk to my dad here in a minute. When the first day he got here, he just followed me around and talked for like 6 hours straight. He didn't stop. I'm like, you're going to have anything to talk about in the podcast? And he was like, oh, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what this crazy guy has to say. It could be terrible. Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully we don't have to edit anything out. Hopefully he doesn't get too wild. Say some crazy shit. We'll see, though. I'm definitely interested. And I know that some of my dad's friends watch it, so I think he's excited. Okay, we got another 30 seconds here about. Then we can get Terpy on this. I got to tighten up this mic. She's moving. Boom. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I know today was a little shorter, a little bit wild. I kind of had a crazy morning. I was feeling really off this morning. A bunch of shit happened, but I'm stoked that I still got here and was able to hang out with you guys for a little bit and get a little episode in, just talking a little bit about function. I don't even honestly really know what I talked about. I think I just ranted for 40 minutes and then just did some dabs, but it's what it is, and that's what the podcast is. There's no schedule. We're going to keep doing the Twitch thing, like I said. You can check that out. I have the link in my bio on my Instagram at They Did It, and who knows, maybe we'll even put the Twitch link on this video. But we're going to start having a schedule there. I want to do all sorts of live glass blowing lessons. I want to show a lot of stuff. Let's take this dab real quick, and then we'll keep talking about the Twitch for a second. I swear there's been construction happening in my house the last 4 episodes. Oh my gosh, I should have smoked more GMO. That stuff's way stronger than I was expecting it. Sometimes you don't expect those fruity ones to hit so hard. Whoa. My dad might be doing all the dabs on this next episode because I'm going into it supremely baked. Did all the weeds. There you go, guys. I said weeds. I know it annoys some people, but some of you guys get it. Wow, that banana terp. All right, so the Twitch. Just a little bit more about that. Really the end goal, so you guys understand what we're working towards. The end goal is to have a solid weekly schedule with the Twitch where we're doing everything from collaborative work when we have people in the studio, live sessions, live podcasts, all sorts of stuff. How-to videos, day-to-day stuff. There's so much we want to do on there, and it's just a matter of now starting to do it. So we're practicing. And pretty soon here, I'm hoping in September, we have some sort of schedule to start following, and it'll get more elaborate as, we get more possible support. But we'll see how it goes. Either way, we're going to do it. Yeah. It's going to be a fun day. Grateful for all you guys that support Bear Mountain Studios. I'm holding this mic because it wants to keep dropping. Yeah, don't forget to check out our website, www.bmsclass.com. I know today was a little weird. This next episode, I'm sure will be better. I hope. We'll see what happens. This is the What's Up Everybody podcast. Hope you guys have an awesome Sunday. Thank you for spending the time with us here and kicking it today. Thank you.